Matthew McConaughey, guys. Matthew McConaughey gets canceled. Really? McConaughey? Oh my, what is this all about? Let's talk about it on today's movie news headlines. Welcome to Mirror Domains, your place for entertainment headlines. Mirror Domains movie news, yeah. And on today's show, we're going to be talking about the Barbie movie. There's a new quote out there talking about it being the best script ever. Leonardo DiCaprio has some questionable advice for Timothée Chalamet. The People's Joker gets canceled. Actually, it's a day of starting out with cancellations, starting with Matthew McConaughey. So let's just start right there. All right. Hollywood Reporter, Skydance scraps Matthew McConaughey soccer movie Dallas Sting weeks ahead of production. Whoa, what's going on here? That's a bummer. McConaughey gets canceled? The studio received allegations about certain aspects of the true story of a famed girls' soccer team in 1984 and their trip to China. Allegations about certain aspects of the true story. So, was it a little bit nefarious? See, this article that's up on Hollywood Reporter doesn't say too much. It makes me question, was it with the story, the source material that they were working with? Was that? Or was it the actual production, things going on there? It's not that clear other than this one sentence. The studio received allegations about certain aspects of the true story. So perhaps they were going to sugarcoat some stuff about how this came together. But what is this story? What is this Dallas Sting? This doesn't really tell too much here on the Hollywood Reporter, so I had to stick my nose around to figure out what's going on here. I'll keep you guys up to date with what's going on here. It was going to be directed by the guy who directed Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Kari Skogland. Okay. The pulling of the plug occurs only 6 weeks. 6 weeks when it had mostly a full cast and they were all ready to go. Bummer. So the story was, the feature project set in 1984 was to tell the true story of a Dallas girls soccer team that traveled to China and against the odds defeated some of the best women's teams in the world. McConaughey was going to play the coach, Bill Kinder, who led the team to victories over Australia and a whole bunch of other people. That doesn't tell us too much about what's going on. That doesn't, really. McConaughey was going to be the coach of the girls' team. Okay, that's fine. And then it just says, Skydance and producers received disturbing allegations surrounding aspects of the true story on which the drama was based. So perhaps some things were embellished, or perhaps some things came out that it really didn't, it wasn't as wholesome, perhaps, as what the movie was going to be portraying, but it was going to have Caitlin Dever in it from Booksmart. Oh, bummer. From a script from Glow creators Liz Flahive and Carly Manch. Well, you see, it doesn't really say that much. And I had to poke my nose around here, so let's go over to another big trade that's running with this story. It'll be the big story of the day, guys, this production, because it's now that's rather shocking that a production would get shut down like 6 weeks before production. Deadline was also running with this, saying 6 weeks. Okay, misconduct from production start following misconduct investigation into aspects of girls' soccer tale. Misconduct. Okay, so this Deadline does a little bit better of a job of filling out some of the details here, and I guess this is a shot of the real team. Okay, so let's take a look. It's the same thing. McConaughey is the coach to lead the team here, but I think they give us just a few more details as to what was actually the real thing, like what really happened. So, in 1984, President Reagan made a concerted effort to. Oh yeah, who cares about that? America was to send a U.S. team to the first World Championship they were holding for women's soccer. There was only one problem. There was no U.S. women's soccer team. A nationwide search led officials to a 19 and under league of Dallas high school girls who called themselves the Sting. Now that right there led officials to a 19 and under league. you kind of get the impression that perhaps the team was not assembled. Oh, yeah. You guys know what's going on here. You know where they're going with this as soon as they say that, right? And I just, after the recent, they called themselves the Sting after the Paul Newman movie, right? Okay, so Kinder is the coach who had no prior experience to coaching soccer before he formed the team. The story of how this passionate group of young women got to China was miraculous, and what they did against the world's top teams from China. Okay, so that sounds like they beat them. It was nothing short of a miracle. So it's on paper, at first glance, it sounded like, okay, yeah, that's a very, very wholesome and story that you could bring to the big screen. But in order to form the team nearly 40 years ago, Kinder had to get a note from a gynecologist asserting that playing soccer would not harm a woman's reproductive organs. Oh, so that's where we're going. And these girls are 19 and under. Texas parents who envisioned their daughters waving pom-poms at halftime soon became the cheerleaders for this eclectic mix of girls drilled to precision by a Lombardi-like coach. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, as soon as you get... God damn you, Texas. You do so many weird things. I just can't fathom it. I couldn't live there. Plus, it's too hot for me. It is. And I don't like spiders. I don't like snakes. I don't like scorpions. So that's why I would never live in Texas. Anyway, let's take a look at some of the comments. I hope this movie gets made with a revised script. Somehow these young women should be celebrated, perhaps even more so if they went through traumatic experiences on their way to that achievement. And it sounds like they did. Like, why do you need to know about it if it damages their reproductive organs? Like, seriously, some guys, like, it would never even, if I was trying to put together this team, it would never even occur to me to think that about young girls, because I would handle it with such care. I would. And it's just, like, some guys get, yeah. All right, without me going on a big rant here, you know where this leads. So it does sound like the girls did achieve something cool, but those allegations. It does give you pause, and perhaps in some way they could revise it, but it's kind of an ugly detail that shows that they endured that. And then they rose to the elite level of soccer playing to beat other teams, especially since, there was no team and the coach never coached before. It sounds like the makings of a good feel-good story, but then we see some other things behind it. So that's what you need to know about the Matthew McConaughey picture being scrapped. And you may have to hunt around for some of the details like I did. But if not, hey, just watch this channel, Mirror Domains, that we do daily, 12 p.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday. We talk about all the big movie news headlines of the day. I'll give it to you straight, no fluff. Yeah. So there you go. What do you guys think about this story? It is fairly controversial, I would say, especially since they had the cast ready to go. They trained some actual real soccer players to act in this movie. And that's kind of a bummer for them. They had a chance there to experience something special, and now we get it sidelined. It's kind of a bummer. It is. It is truly kind of a bummer. All right, guys, there's all the social media handles that you can follow there. We do the pre-show on Instagram. We talk about, my prep for the show, what I do and stuff like that. A little behind-the-scenes stuff. I talk a bit about some personal matters and such like that. And then we do the post-show on Facebook Live, which may slowly be transitioning to Twitch. I'll keep you guys posted. Not that many people watch the post show anyway, but eventually I think it'll migrate to YouTube here, but it'll be for members only once we get up to, more people watching the show. All right, let's move on. Enough of my little blabber there. The People's Joker was going to debut at TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival, that I think just wrapped up yesterday. But this People's Joker, well, what's this about? Pulled from Toronto Fest over rights issues. Is that so? Something doesn't smell right here. Vera Drew's queer coming-of-age film with its reimagined reimagining of Gotham City has been withdrawn from further plays at festival premiere after midnight Tuesday. Yeah, and apparently, okay, there's a trailer out for this, so you can watch it at your own leisure there. But apparently it was going to be like this transgender person was inspired by the Joker and then, takes on that visage, and it's a little on the low budget side, a little aside, a little bit of a questionable acting, but I guess the rights issue, when you watch the trailer, it's very much Joker. It's kind of hard to avoid. So when you read that, it's kind of like, the rights issue. I could see how that happens. Some people want to twist it around to say that it's because it's transgender and stuff like that. Don't pay attention to that. That's not really why. Feature about a trans woman working in a comedy set in the Batman universe. So and I don't think they got the actual go-ahead from WB or David Zaslav to say, yes, go ahead and make this project. The filmmaker was withdrawn this film due to rights issues. We apologize for any inconvenience. Yeah. So, WB Discovery, which owns Batman and DC characters, could not be reached for comment whether the studio has asserted its rights of copy protection. So that's where you kind of say, well, maybe not, because they would at least come out and release some kind of a statement about it. Due to illegal gray zone, Vera Drew don't own Joker and Batman, but it's a parody. Yeah, so it's kind of like a mock kind of thing, like a parody. But I guess they took it maybe a little too close to the actual source material of Joker, because you look at some of the images from this, and she looks very much like it's straight from the pages. And then of course they put in some of that stuff there. Okay, hold on here, because it is a certain risque material here. Okay, yeah, this is some of the images of her. So like you got a scene straight out of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker in there. It looks like you got a little bit of perhaps the People's Joker. Let's take a look at the IMDb. Let's do that. Does it have an IMDb? The People's Joker. So it was an aspiring clown grappling with her gender identity combats a fantastic caped crusader. Yeah, definitely writes. And how could you not know that when you're making it, wasting all the people's time and money, knowing that you could possibly, without going ahead and securing rights or a go-ahead, and Mr. Freeze voice, Dr. Jonathan Crane. So it's, you're definitely using characters out of the DCEU. What the heck are you doing, People's Joker? When it comes to cancellations, people getting canceled, this one seems a little bit just, but I know some people will try to spin it because of its the subject matter of it. That's not the real reason why, because they're using characters from the Batman universe, and you can't do that. You just can't do that. You will get a slap on the wrists if you're lucky, if not sued, right? So there you go. That's what's happening with that one. Let's take some live comments here. Our Viking says, surely their story could be told all the more against all odds, a real underdog story, talking about the McConaughey one. Yeah, it could. It could. If they address that stuff in a tactful manner. Because that kind of stuff, talking about, like, the people in the States are doing crazy stuff right now too. Like, you have to prove that you're of a certain gender first. You got to derobe. It's just so crazy there right now. Anyway, Our Glass Viking says no. So copyright strike one for Vera Drew. Yeah, that's not good. Not a good start if that's. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into some advice from Leonardo DiCaprio to Timothée Chalamet. I guess Timothée Chalamet reveals Leonardo DiCaprio gave him some career advice. No hard drugs. Well, that sounds proper. And no superhero movies. What the heck is going on? No superhero movies? So that's why we haven't seen DiCaprio in a superhero film. And it sounds like if, well, you know what? Chalamet's already in Dune, so that's sci-fi. Have we seen DiCaprio in a sci-fi? Like, no superhero movies. What's that? You kind of get the impression that Leo kind of looks down his nose at the superhero genre. And, well, let's take a look at this quote. Maybe it expands on it here just for a little bit. Because in an interview, this came up. DiCaprio and Chalamet shared screen time during Don't Look Up. Yes, they did for like a very brief time, wasn't it? Chalamet played Jennifer Lawrence's fling. So, okay, that's it. There's nothing more here. You don't elaborate that. Okay, so I guess they were working on Don't Look Up, and I guess that's his advice. That's all you got from me, Variety? Come on, you're the big trade. You should have something here. So Chalamet revealed to British Vogue the career advice that DiCaprio gave him. No hard drugs and no superhero movies. Huh. And, the common arguments here are that, even award winners like Anthony Hopkins are in superhero movies. It's kind of like, guys, I don't know. It's kind of a weird advice to give. But when you think about DiCaprio's career, he was sort of in talks at the start for a Star Wars movie in episode 2, but he was a little bit too old, or was he? Was he? Because we knew that he went to the ranch to talk with George Lucas about that. But now that you get headlines like this, no superhero movie, maybe that's not the direction that he wanted to go. You get the impression that he wants him to make a more, in his eyes, serious subject matter. They're both talented actors, Timothée Chalamet, and they're both talented. But you hear this from DiCaprio, and it does give me pause. It means that we're never going to see him in the MCU. We're not going to see him in a sci-fi, I would imagine. Although, I don't know. It's kind of a bummer. It gives me pause. But what do you guys think about this headline? It does not sit well with me, but we'll have to figure it out as it goes. All right. I think that's all the bad news for the day. Let me tell you a little bit about this channel, guys. If you don't know this, how this works, we do full live watch-alongs during the week for things like She-Hulk. Episode 5 comes out later today, 1:30 p.m. We'll be watching this episode, and I'm having lots of fun with it. Episode 5 already. That means we'll be halfway through this season for She-Hulk. And we do House of the Dragon, 1:30 p.m. on Monday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, guys. Episode 4. Now that thumbnail makes a whole lot more sense after watching that, and that's kind of ew. Episode 4 of The Rings of Power drops this Friday, 1:30 p.m., guys. Are you liking this? I know some people aren't, but I'm pushing through. I'm persevering. And on the weekend, we do a horror weekly roundup where we talk about all the big horror movie news headlines of the week that dropped. And, of course, we do the movie news in this kind of rundown fashion. So you're going to find something that you like here on the channel. Hit that thumbs up button. You know you want to. And subscribe, because you'll get lots of things, like even full movie watch-alongs for things like Predator Prey, X, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Lots of fun stuff here on the channel, for sure. So I hope you join us. And you'll learn all about movies and TV shows and stuff like that. At least the big TV shows. Survivor starts soon, I think, again. Ooh, I don't know how I'm going to mix that in. Hell's Kitchen starts again, too. Oh, I'm going to be busy for the next month, for sure. All right, let's start a new segment that I'm going to be starting up just yesterday, called the Movie News Tid Bit Rundown, where we go through a bunch of the big headlines that don't have a whole lot of substance to them, but it's small tidbits of information. Let's get to it. Barbarian director has written a script for a Batman-adjacent movie. What? So Zach Krieger, who just Barbarian opened over the last weekend, a home invasion movie, horror movie with the guy who played Pennywise. But apparently he's already written a script for a side project. What's this? He says, the thing I'd love to do next, I've actually wrote a movie that takes place in the DC universe, which is not not normally my thing, but I'm not a superhero guy. Oh, So you're sort of like DiCaprio? No, obviously he wrote the script. So I just couldn't stop thinking about this one story that kind of takes place in the Batman adjacent thing. And so I wrote it. And I'm like utterly obsessed with it. One day, it's not going to happen in the next 2 years, but one day I want to make it. So it's going to take, it sounds like he was inspired by Pattinson's Batman and wrote a Batman adjacent movie. The guy who directed The Barbarian, a horror movie. Ooh, could it be a horror project? Just a side Batman. That sounds interesting. I'll keep my eye peeled for stories about that. The Avengers. Kang Dynasty recruits Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania writer Jeff Loveness. All right, so you got a writer there from the Kang Dynasty. Avengers is going to be taking place in Phase 6, right? Phase 6, we'll get 2 Avengers, Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. So Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania writer Jeff Loveness is tapped to write the script. And then we hear who's going to direct this. That's still speculation. Is it going to be Ryan Coogler? Who knows? As we get closer to it, because we're just starting Phase 5, guys, and these are going to be in like Phase 6, right? The Avengers movies. So yeah, it's scheduled for 2025. So it's still about 3.5, 4 years away, right? But the guy who wrote Quantumania is going to be writing that. I guess they liked what he turned in for Quantumania. So yeah, Quantumania is just around the corner next March, I believe, for that movie, and we'll have to see how that pans out. Some more tidbits here are Kevin Feige defends Gore. His design. We've seen this story before. For some reason, it resurfaced. Kevin Feige defends because he doesn't look like him from the cartoons, right? Yeah, there he is supposed to be right there in the cartoons. So I actually liked what he looked like. I had no problem. They didn't need to do the nose kind of like from Harry Potter kind of thing. They didn't need to do that kind of thing. You could have added some tendrils though that go behind the ears and stuff like that. You could have done that. I think they should have at least done that. But I liked Kevin Feige's reasoning that we wanted to tap into that, but if we had done that transition like from the comics, we would have lost all of Christian. So we made the decision early that we didn't want him to be a motion capture character. There are incredible ways of doing that, but with this particular actor, like Bale, this particular character, Taika really believed, rightfully so, that we could achieve that with makeup. And I still think he's the best part of Thor 4. So they didn't want to cover up his face, because look at the expressions that he gives. Like, he's so emotive. He can transform his face and such. That's one of the magics that Christian Bale can do. And yeah, I agree with that. You don't want to cover that up. So yeah, that resurfaced again. And then finally from the MCU, more fan art from Fantastic Four, because they had D23 over the weekend and we got the director, but we didn't get the cast. And as you can see, there's still people out there clamoring for Krasinski and Emily Blunt to be there, but I don't think they're going to be there. Yeah, especially Blunt, because Blunt says she almost has the same attitude as Leonardo DiCaprio. No superhero movies. And then, of course, Docra Montgomery or whatever from Stranger Things is maybe going to be Human Torch. And the Thing actor doesn't really matter. But as you can see, there's a fan-made poster there. I thought it was worth pulling at least worth talking about. And then I think this is the final story. No, it's not. It's Morbid time on Netflix. Why Morbius is so popular now. I guess, okay, we did see the headline that Morbius was on Netflix, but it's only on Netflix in the United States. I checked my Netflix feed this morning too again, because I saw this headline, and I do want to watch Morbius with you guys. Once it comes out on Netflix worldwide, I will be watching more Morbius with you guys for sure, because I do want to say some stuff. But did the Morbin Time meme cause Morbius Netflix popularity? And I agree that I think it did. The Morbin Time, like even there's like an Instagram of Jared Leto reading Morbius 2 script, and below it says it's Morbin Time. So well, yeah, I think the Morbin Time definitely. And they should have tapped into that. And once you tap into that, then you got to realize that it would be a different tone for what they were going for with Morbius. But I think they should definitely give a second chance to that one for sure. And finally, let's talk about this. I didn't realize that Brian Cox was going to be a treasure trove for quotes and sound bites, but apparently, because we saw over the weekend at what was it, the Emmys, he called out King Charles III. He talked about some other TV show online with billionaires or something. He threw them under the bus. But then when it comes to method acting, he calls it American S word, American poop. He says, you just let it come through you and you don't get in the effing way. So, he's in TIFF talking about a film called Prisoner's Daughter. So, Brian Cox thinks method acting is hogwash. Well, you know who would think otherwise? This guy, Jared Leto, method actor. He calls it American BS, American S word, right? So yeah, Brian Cox is on a roll here with some quotes, some sound bites. I don't have a hold of the American S having to have a religious experience every time you play a part. It's crap, Cox said. And I sort of agree with that. But I understand the different approaches to acting because, hey, I studied acting so I know some bits of it. It was a craft that I never picked up, and I'm sure that I could probably do okay at it. But I understand the methodology behind method acting, but apparently, just a different approach. Brian Cox blasts method acting, and that's pretty much it for the Tid Bit Roundup, guys. Do you guys like that segment? You know how I just kind of steamrolled through it? I don't want to turn them into big, huge, long stories that just drag on and drag out the show's length just for the sake of length. No, that's not the way that we roll here on Mirror Domains Movie News. All right, there you go. Let's take some live comments here. It's strange that, from Our Glass Viking says, it's strange that should be Leo's advice. Tobey Maguire is one of his best friends. Yeah, it is kind of weird, huh? Well, then you hear things about Tobey Maguire, like that, the Michael Cera character in that Molly's Game with Jessica Chastain about the poker playing, about the butthead celebrity that plays poker with everybody. It's supposed to be based on Tobey Maguire. Anyway, Our Glass Vikings, if the side project was Commissioner Gordon led, that might be interesting. Well, I don't think so, because we heard about that Gotham GPD or whatever TV show that was supposed to happen. I haven't heard anything more about it since the shakeup with Zaslav. I still think they're going ahead with the Penguin sideshow or spinoff for the Batman, but we'll have to see. But the guy who did Barbarian, a horror, something could be there. And he seems very passionate about it. Our Glass also says they avoided a lawsuit by Warner by distancing Bale from Voldemort. Yeah, that the evil guy from Harry Potter, Voldemort, because of the nose. It's mostly the nose that would make him look the same, right? And the nostrils were high. Our Glass Viking says, does a director have input on a casting choice? Yeah, they do sometimes, definitely. Well, it depends on the big, like in an MCU picture, not so much. I don't think so. I think Feige would have a lot of control over that. The director just comes in, has handed all of this materials and said, drive the machine, make this movie, follow our notes and kind of thing. Add in a little bit of your flavor here and there like they did with Raimi in Doctor Strange 2. But hey, on a smaller independent film, most definitely a director has almost like complete control for casting. Yeah, more Morbius. Our Glass says you can't count on grumpy old Scottish man to turn the air blue or not pull punches. And you know what? He's old. He's in his late or mid 70s, right? Brian Cox. But hey, why not? From Succession, right? A Weaver says in live chat, Olivier famously needled Hoffman for method during Marathon Man. Next time, try acting, he said. Yeah, and the whole method acting kind of thing is, you got to know the limit of it. Like, when you got to the Jared Leto stuff for the Joker, like mailing, was it excrement to cast members? No, that's too far. If you're staying in character, like on set, and just doing the normal things, not going overboard with it, but like trying to keep the same kind of accent. Like if you're doing an accent, keeping that throughout the day, that like that kind of level of method acting, not this not the over the top Jared Leto stuff, but it is what it is. And Hoffman, I heard that Hoffman dabbled with that at the beginning of his career too, right? Every now and then. Anyway, let's continue on with the other big news story of the day. Gran Turismo Castsing. Sorry for the for the spelling error there. Yeah. On the other side, Daniel Day-Lewis is the best method actor and 3 Oscars behind him. Oh, yeah, and I heard that too. Although, on the set of There Will Be Blood, which I think is his best movie, he did break character. You saw him with the young boy break character. They would joke around on set and such. So he wasn't 100% like that. Like he knew the limits of that way of acting. Hoffman apparently stayed up without sleep to get strung out. Yeah. And you hear things like that's what Charlie Sheen did for his small cameo in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on and talk about Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo casts David Harbour, cool, in Gran Turismo, a movie based on the Sony and PlayStation games, directed by Neil Blomkamp from District 9, Elysium, Chappie, once we don't talk about that, inspired by the best-selling video game. Okay, well, guys, do you like Gran Turismo? It's a racing game, and I was much more of a Need for Speed kind of person. But when you look at the gameplay, okay, there's a little bit of the gameplay. It was mostly the cutscenes that got people into it, right? And I seem to remember that they were going for a little bit more of a realistic control with the way that the controller handled the cars. I remember that, but the cutscenes look gorgeous. Like. You're just racing laps. You're racing in legs and stuff like that. So David Harbour joining the cast of Gran Turismo. Of course, we've seen him in Stranger Things. He was in Black Widow. He's going to be in the Thunderbolts movie. Working with Neil Blomkamp. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. But, it's kind of a treacherous territory to go through from these video game driving movies, because the Need for Speed movie, they did film it all mostly practical, and like all those crash stunts looked fantastic. We'll have to see here. Let's take a look at the IMDb that says the ultimate wish fulfillment tale of a teenage Gran Turismo player whose gaming skills won a series of Nissan competitions to become an actual professional race car driver, based on a true story. Oh, so that's what this Gran Turismo movie is going to be about. A person who started off by playing the games actually became a real-life driver. So we'll have to see who that person is going to be cast as. But David Harbour is going to be in this. I'm guessing maybe he could be like the pit crew guy. The pit crew, maybe? The lead pit crew guy. That would be cool, though. Okay, I like the sound of that premise. Yeah. I'm kind of on board for this. They don't have a release date. They got a target, right, for August 11th. Oh, they do. Expected August 11th, 2023. Huh. Arglass says in the live chat, I spent many hours of my life building my own dream car in Gran Turismo. Yeah. Yeah, that's what you used to do, right? You would get upgrades and build stuff. Mario Kart is all I want to do, says A. Weaver, but I remember Gran Turismo. Love Harbour, but yeah, the plot line. A little bit on the Last Starfighter-ish kind of thing, right? Of somebody who started off playing the video games and then gets recruited to be a real life, to play that role in real life. Based on a true story, though. Neil Blomkamp. Yeah, I know that he's been hit and miss lately with his career, but we know that he can direct good. He's good at handling visual effects, right? So I think he would be good at marrying. If they do any CG work with the cars, I hope it's mostly practical cars, though. Uh, I'm on board with that because I like a good racing movie. I like the sounds of the cars. Like in a theater, when you hear all the engines revving up and stuff like that, that's awesome. That's really cool to hear. And a Gran Turismo movie, I'd be on board for that for sure. With David Harbour. Very interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and we'll talk about it. Zoe Kravitz Directs. Zoe Kravitz. Selena Kyle herself. Gina Davis thinks Zoe Kravitz is a phenomenal director after working with her on P-Word Island. Now, I guess I won't get flagged for that. Pussy Island. Okay, so what's this about? Well, we saw this come out a while ago that this movie was going to be her directorial debut and it would star Channing Tatum. Okay, and I guess it's going to also have Gina Davis in it. We'll pull the IMDb page here. Let's take a look at the synopsis for this P-Word Island. Frida is a young, clever Los Angeles cocktail waitress who has her eyes set on the prize, philanthropist and tech mogul Slater King, played by Channing Tatum, when she skillfully maneuvers her way into King's inner circle and ultimately an intimate gathering on his private island. So that's where you go, private island, the P Island. She is ready for a journey of a lifetime despite the epic setting, beautiful people, ever-flowing champagne, and party. Right? Zoe Kravitz directs, Channing Tatum. Adria Arjona is in this. Adria Arjona. She was just in talking about Morbius. She was in Morbius, right? So she's in that. Gina Davis is in there. Christian Slater. Haley Joel Osment. Wow, that's cool. Kyle MacLachlan. Yeah. Paul Atreides himself. I still like the 80s version of Dune. I do. But I still like the new Dune as well, and I can't wait for part 2. But it'd be cool if he had a cameo in Dune Part 2 as well. But anyway, that's a fairly impressive cast. Yeah, the Adria Arjona was in Morbius, right? And she's going to be in that. She's going to be in Andor. Well, that's cool. Yeah, Morbius. Father of the Bride, Andor. So Andor starts, guys, next Wednesday. We're going to be watching that. And she was a standout in Morbius. One of the reasons why I want to talk about Morbius. Yeah. Good actress. Checking that out. So she's in this P-Word. And Gina Davis says that Zoe Kravitz was fairly good behind the island. Behind the camera. Let's take a look at her quote from when she was talking with E.T. She says, quote, she's a phenomenal director. Yeah, phenomenal. She did a great job. Great job. She did a great job. So prepared and confident, but fluid, I mean, just everything about it was perfect, Davis said about Kravitz. Well, that's good. That's awesome, because I do love her as an actress, and it sounds like she studied filmmaking. Well, she's worked with some fantastic filmmakers, with Matt Reeves, obviously, with the Batman. She worked with the guy from Fury Road, George Miller, right? Mad Max. So, and she's been she's been in a lot of stuff, guys. So she's been around the industry. Good start for her. I'm kind of intrigued by this premise. Tatum is going to be playing that over-the-top kind of guy who brings people to his island to do nefarious things by the sounds of it. Naomi Ackie is going to be playing the young cocktail actress. Naomi Ackie. Do I recognize that name? Naomi Ackie. Let's take a look at this. Naomi Ackie. Oh, okay. So she was in Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Some live comments here in the live chat. Arglass says they should bring The Weeknd to do the soundtrack for Gran Turismo and Korn. Yeah, Korn would be cool. The Weeknd, yeah. Arglass also says, so this is Pretty Woman set on an island. No, actually, I heard that it's going to be a little bit more darker, like a little bit perhaps like The Menu. That Channing Tatum is a little bit more sinister than that meets the eye. A Weaver says, I'm sure they are just a lot of cats on the island. Well, that's a possibility. You never know. You never know. Whoops. That's why it's called the P word, right? It's just for YouTube I'm saying that, guys. But I like Vangelis soundtrack in the original Dune. It raised the quality of it. Yeah, I know that the new Dune was praised for the soundtrack from Hans Zimmer, but oh, and Alia Shawkat's in this. She was in Green Room. We need to see more from her too. Well, we are cool cast for Pussy Island. All right, nepotism at its best. What do you mean? Writers, Zoe Kravitz. Somebody else producing this that I don't know? Let's see who's producing this. Just so I know what I'm talking about here. Cast, directed. Producers, produced by Bruce Cohen, Zoe Kravitz, Garrett Levitz. No other producers there that I recognize. Anyway, Zoe Kravitz directs, and it sounds like she's off to a good start. I can't wait for that movie. Pussy Island comes out. Let's take a look at the release date for this. Sometime slated for 2023, it says. That's it. No official release date. It's still in production. Okay, that's what the IMDb says. All right, there you go. Let's move on. Barbie. We know about Barbie. For sure. Kravitz herself being from a showbiz family. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, I can see that. Let's move on to the Barbie movie. We got a quote here. Barbie movie star praises script as best she's ever read. Really, Emma Mackey praises the film's script by Greta Gerwig, and Noah Baumbach is one of the best she's ever read. Okay, well that's quite the boast, I would say. And we know that Emma Mackey is going to be in the Barbie movie. With Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, that comes out next year. And let's take a look at her quote here, saying that this is the best ever. She says in an interview with Total Film, Mackey had the occasion to discuss the Barbie script and spoke about Gerwig. And she said, it's pretty special, she said, adding, it's one of the best scripts all of us had read. Well, that's even better than, well, you're including other people saying that. So that's, is that a bit of an overreach? I don't know. You hear good things about this. Apparently, yeah, and Mackey, Emma Mackey here, is going to be playing a different version of Barbie. Because you hear plot details that there's going to be more than one Barbie in it, and more than one Ken. Simu Liu, Shang-Chi himself, is going to be playing a version of Ken as well. We've seen set photos of this. It's very colorful. Wow, Baumbach and Gerwig, this should be interesting. I can't even imagine. Yeah, apparently it's going to have multiple Kens and Barbies. Maybe they'll interact with each other. We'll have to see how it comes. Maybe it's about relevance, I'm guessing, because we see them wearing very much 80s styles clothes out on the beach with just normal dressed people from today. So maybe it's about that. They'll be like, that'll be the heart of it, right? That, hey, don't forget your childhood. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. Oddly enough, I never thought that you would hear me ever say that I'm looking forward to a Barbie movie slated July 21st, 2023. One of the best scripts ever read, boasts Emma Mackey. Huh. All right. Have to keep our eyes out for that. Still a year away, though. Still a year away. Colorful. Well, it's pink at least. Very, very pink, says our Glass Vikings. Yeah, it is pink. But we've seen them like in the 80s kind of neon stuff when they're rollerblading on the beach. I don't have anything like that. A Weaver says, I had all the Barbie stuff as a kid. Dreamhouse, RV, Starvette. Yeah, I'm cool. But you hear it's good script, good cast, really good cast. Barbie, be checking that out. I wouldn't expect anything like a teaser until maybe around Christmas or early next year, January, somewhere around there. We'll get a teaser for it. It's still over like 11 months away, right? All right, what's not 11 months away is something called The Experiment. starring Rona Mitra, the very first Lara Croft herself. Famke Janssen and Stephanie Martini lead sci-fi horror filming at UK's Rebellion Studios. Hey, you know what? I like sci-fi, I like horror, and I like Rona Mitra and Famke Janssen. I don't know who Stephanie Martini is. Rona was also in that Awakening, or sorry, the Underworld movie, Awakening, wasn't it? Or something? I can't remember. The one that was mostly about the lichens, I think. And Famke Janssen is still cool. She went through a phase there where she over-injected her face. But I hope she goes in the direction of what Courtney Cox did. Because Courtney Cox also injected her face with stuff. And then she let it go away. And I hope Famke does, because she's awesome. I still like her. But anyway, what's this movie about? The Experiment. Let's take a look. Set in 2080, in a world recovering from a catastrophic nuclear war, The Experiment follows an elite spec ops team led by Captain Ava Stone. So Rona looks like she's going to be the lead, sent on a rescue mission in a top secret military research facility after a rogue employee takes a group of scientists hostage. Okay, all right. Well, that sounds kind of interesting. Well, maybe a little too generic for some people, but, it's a futuristic film set in a small space. Give these actors, room to breathe. It's possible. We've seen smaller films like this work, and I like the cast. Yeah, I do. Cool. The project marks the first for the action label Action Extreme, okay, from the UK. Art house producer distributor Sovereign Media, who also did Triangle of Sadness, that's due out this year. Triangle of Sadness. Okay, so from that same production house. And then it just goes on to talk about a whole bunch of things here, like the director of photography and stuff like that. They kind of embellish some of the crew, I guess. They just want, oh God, look how much they embellish here. And then they go on to elaborate on who Rona Mitra is, but Stephanie Martini. Do we know anything from her? I don't know anything from her. It's not a name that jumps out at me. So, you know what? It's my show. We can take a look at this. Stephanie Martini. 31 years old. Don't need to know about that. Let's take a look at her IMDb to see her credits. From the UK. Discography. Or film actress. Only 12 credits. So she was on Gold TV series, Last Kingdom, Lola. Okay, so some shorts, some TV stuff. Okay, so nothing too major that jumps out at me. But okay. All right. What do you guys think? A sci-fi thriller. Rona Mitra, Famke Janssen, The Experiment. Sci-fi horror. Post-nuclear war. Could there be mutants involved? I think so. Hey, I'd be wanting to check that out. Yeah. All right. Some live comments here. Artglass says Barbie is going to bring on a great 80s revival. Time to dig out the rollerblades and 80s music. Yeah, and the jammers, right? Those were like the between pants and shorts jammers. I wonder, will the experiment be serious or more tongue-in-cheek? By the sounds of the description, a little bit more serious, right? So hopefully that'll be good. Paramount Plus is going to be set to merger, or maybe with Showtime. What's this all about? It's a little bit more of a business side kind of thing, guys. We saw that even Bob Iger has come out and said that, on all these streaming services, they're not going to survive. And how can they possibly survive? Maybe by mergering. Because we hear that, there's just too many of them. People don't have the money to buy all of these things, but people want to see them. I don't have the money to see all of them. I would love to have Shudder, but Paramount considers merging Showtime with Paramount Plus. And Paramount Plus would be one that I would like to get. It would. So let's take a look at what they're saying here. According to the Wall Street Journal, exclusive with people familiar with the situation at Paramount Global, the company is considering ending its Showtime streaming service and shifting the Showtime content to Paramount Plus to streamline its offering amid growing crowd of competitors in the streaming marketplace. And yeah, exactly. And if you got all these catalogs under different wings of your parent company, I think that's what all of them have to do. Just merge them all under the big parent company, and enough with this side stuff like, the Peacock, Hulu, Crave. It's just too much. It is. And I think this will be the way that things will be going for the next little while. You'll see more mergers like this. But it's nothing official from this article. It's not quite official. They're considering. But I think that's the way it's going to go. And for me, that makes sense. And it makes sense for a lot of people out there. Because because I get cable. I still get cable because I watch sports, right? I watch hockey, I watch football and baseball, and I want to be able to see, the playoffs and stuff like that. Now that football's back, every Sunday I'm watching the Bills, so that's what I do. That's why I still keep cable. Eventually, if that gets opened up, I guess you could do that online. I don't know, because I would love to cut the cable. But you know what? I still watch things like Hell's Kitchen and Survivor and stuff like that. I don't know. Let me not get sidetracked here. Artglass says, I'd rather cherry pick through all the streaming services and choose the shows I want to see. There's a lot of cross and dross and filler content in most services. Yeah, and then you got free ones like Tubi and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Talking about one of the streaming services, like we're on the topic here of Paramount Plus. A Weaver says that might be okay because it's hard to get Showtime. Yeah, I'd had to do a free trial just to watch Yellow Jackets, and that's what I would have to do. But I would have to get it on Crave here in Canada, right? Is that what happened? They gave us the first episode for free. Then I would have to subscribe. And the mix of rights from each country, because we don't get Hulu in Canada, but I was able to watch Prey on Disney Plus. It's just the rights don't convert all from HBO Max over to Crave, what we have here in Canada. So the whole libraries are not always there. Just like what Netflix does, right? How Morbius is out on Netflix right now in the US, but not everywhere else. It's just it can become cumbersome. Keeping with Paramount Plus, let's talk about Halo Season 2. I didn't realize that the first Halo season warranted a second season because from all the reviews that I saw, people hated it. But apparently Halo Season 2 starts filming, new cast members announced. And I watched the first episode and I was not enthralled. I couldn't. I liked the trailers for it and everything, and I was kind of like, yeah, I want to see this. But a lot of people had issue with him taking off his helmet. I understand that. It's kind of like that Resident Evil situation. People who were fans of the game didn't like this iteration of what they were doing. So I was shocked by this headline that Halo Season 2 starts filming with some new cast for Paramount Plus. See how I tie things together and I don't separate them by long things? At least that's what I try to do. Season 2 is now in production. I guess people liked it enough. I guess the viewership was there, or they're just riding the ship right down into the ground. On Wednesday, the show's official Twitter page posted an image of the cast on set in Iceland for the first day of filming of Season 2, and that we've seen it there. The Spartans have landed in Iceland. At least they're using real locations. I dug that. But I just found like the production values, once they took off the helmets and they weren't fighting, I found that kind of stuff a little bit questionable. And I was like, And then I saw Angry Joe's review and I was like, okay, I'm out. I can't handle it. But some people do, and it warranted a second season. Any comments? No comments. No release date as of yet for when this will. Season 2 does not yet have a premiere date. But if you were a fan of it, don't knock it for you guys. Hey, if you enjoyed it, you want to see more Halo, for sure. A Weaver says it sucks we have to juggle them all to see specific projects. Yeah, indeed. Because I would love to see the new Chucky, but I was looking for it, but it's on Sci-Fi, and we don't have Sci-Fi, the SYFY here in Canada. At least I don't think, from when I was early looking. Yeah. Anyway, let's take a look here. So a few more stories here that are listed in the description, but not in the comments here. Let's talk about She-Hulk, because She-Hulk is going to be in 35 minutes here, guys, live on the channel. We'll be watching episode 5. Charlie Cox wants to reunite with Tatiana Maslany in Daredevil Born Again for Netflix. No, Disney Plus, right? Sorry. Yeah, Disney Plus is picking up Daredevil. And apparently it's going to be like a brand new kind of thing. What? Charlie Cox is back? And we know that he's going to appear in She-Hulk. I hope it's in this next episode. But if not, it'll be in episode 6, I think. She-Hulk runs for, was it 9 episodes? 9 episodes? Yeah, right. Rings of Power is 8 episodes. She-Hulk is 9. And House of Dragon is 10, right? We know that he appears in at least one episode, and I think it's only one episode of She-Hulk. But apparently it was such a good experience that he wants to have her hopefully come in the Daredevil series, Born Again. Well, that's cool. Let's read his quote here from D23. I really want Tatiana to come back and make a special appearance. I had such a blast working with her, and the character's chemistry was so fun. Yeah, apparently she thirsts for him, because they're both lawyers, and you know she's on the market, she's on the prowl, right? If you've been watching She-Hulk, you know what I'm talking about. I've been having a lot of fun with She-Hulk. I'm really excited to see that episode. You know, we're both lawyers. There's a lot for us to think about those two, so I would love for her to make an appearance in the show. And we know that Vincent D'Onofrio is coming back. There's the logo for Daredevil Born Again. And this one I hear is going to be like 16 episodes or something. 12 to 16 episodes, I think. So, yeah. Debuts 2024. Sounds like they're ramping up. They could be shooting it right now. I should have pulled that. But She-Hulk, guys, just in about 30 minutes, we'll be watching that episode. And one final story, Indy 5 here. This was just kind of a editorial kind of thing. Every Indy franchise mistake Indiana Jones 5 must fix? Really? Must it fix something from the franchise? So you can see that this is just kind of like a passion piece, a puff piece from Screen Rant. What are you talking about? What could you fix? Like, would you retcon some stuff? And I guess they just want to make peace with the guy who played Short Round there. And we saw pictures from D23, the older, this actor and Harrison Ford were hugging each other, I guess. So could they shoehorn that back in? Could Mutt Williams be back in this one? I don't think so. Shia LaBeouf is kind of a recluse, difficult to work with, difficult to handle. I doubt that. And it sounds like for the most part, Indy 5 is already all written and done. So you'd have to only put them in like a cameo at the end. Let's say Indy dies in number 5. Have him show up at the funeral, right? Just have him in the background. Short Round. Yeah, do it that way. Temple of Doom's racist and sexist. How could you rectify that? It's too late for that. So Short Round is coming back? No, he's not. He's not right now. Because Indiana Jones plot details and characters, there's still time. There's still time for characters like Short Round and Marion. Although he's married to Marion now, right? But is she? She's not listed for Indiana Jones 5, I don't think. Let me pull that up. Let's take a look at the IMDb. It should give us a little bit more of an insight into his at least all coming back. I would like to see Sala come back. From James Mangold, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Mads Mikkelsen is bad guy, Thomas Kretschmann, Boyd Holbrook, Toby Jones, Antonio Banderas. Okay, cool. Sala is coming back. John Rhys Davis. That's cool. I like that. The young kid there. I don't see Short Round. Here. But this is kind of a thing. As I said, this article that's up on Screen Rant is kind of like a puff piece. Things that it's like their wish lists, right? What they would like to see happen. I would like to see Short Round come back because we did see that picture of. Let's see if I can find that picture of Harrison Ford. Yeah, I'll pull that up because it was kind of a cool picture. Yeah, it's them right there. Yeah, see them? So that would be kind of like, yeah, they can do justice to like that. Have him come back. I thought it was all in the can. Well, they will do reshoots. And you can shoehorn a small cameo like him back in there. Even if they just kind of look at each other and just nod. That would be kind of cool. Right? I think it would be. But that's why I left this story to the last one. I didn't want to cause any confusion. It's just more or less one person writing their thoughts on what it should be, what they would like to see. Indiana Jones 5 must fix Crystal Skull's alien artifact mistake. I think the less we talk about Crystal Skull, probably the better. There were things I liked about it, but it is what it is, and you just got to accept it. From what we heard from D23, and what we heard from Harrison himself is that it is a good script, it's a good story, it's heartfelt, it's going to have an emotional punch to it. So he was very proud of it. James Mangold, who directed Logan, I'm on board with it. A. Weaver says, wasn't the same actor in Everywhere All at Once? Everything Everywhere All at Once? I think he's back into acting. Yes, he was. Which I still need to see. I just gotta. I'm gonna have to force myself to sit down one weekend here and just have like a binging weekend of me watching everything that I need to get caught up with. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to Indiana Jones 5. I definitely am, and that's a cool picture of them there. It truly is. All right, guys, we're 103. That's pretty much the way that the movie news has gone this today. We're going to finish out by looking at the Twitter roundup that I'm going to pull up right now. And then in just like 27 minutes, we're going to be going live watching She-Hulk Episode 5. We'll break here in about 15 or about 10 minutes or so. So I'll give myself a little bit of a break to see if I, refresh the old battery. Stand up, stretch. Let's see if I missed any of the big headlines, perhaps. Then, no, I didn't miss anything there. Let's go over to Twitter then. Plenty of Red Bull. Yeah, with my weekend binge. I need it for sure. Emmy winner Quinta Brunson is developing a movie script with Seth Rogen's company. Oh yeah, and apparently Jimmy Kimmel, because she won an Emmy, right? Jimmy Kimmel came out and apologized to her, right? Was the apology accepted? Says she and Zendaya have talked about working together. That would be cool. Can't go wrong with Zendaya. What's this? Jeremy Allen White joins Zac Efron and Harris Dickinson in Iron Claw for A24. They will play world-famous wrestling siblings, the Von Erichs. White will play Kerry Von Erich, and Efron will play Kevin, and Dickinson will play David. Maybe that was a little bit before my time. Noah Centineo. Okay, because he's going to be in Black Adam. The trailer for Park Chan-wook's Decision to Leave has been released. Decision to Leave. I don't even know what that is. But if it's a trailer, guys, we'll check it out tomorrow. It looks like it's a foreign film. All right, I'll check that out. World of Warcraft, we don't need to see that. The first trailer for I Want to Dance with Somebody starring Naomi Aki. Talking about Naomi Aki. Yeah. She's going to be in that Pussy Island. Whitney Houston has been released. So she's going to be playing Whitney Houston? Wow. And, this one is going to be another one of those stories where you hear that Blonde with Marilyn Monroe is very... They didn't pull any punches in that. And I hope that movie about Whitney Houston, because she was into the drugs and stuff like that. I wonder if they're going to pull punches or sugarcoat things. Survivor preseason means time to bring back all-time favorites. Jeb Probst's clip. Survivor will be in 26 days moving forward. We're fine with that. What? So it got delayed? Survivor fans, season 43 is just around the corner. There's only 1 week until the premiere. Okay, so it's next week, guys. So if it's going to be Andor and Survivor on the same week, I don't know how that's going to work out. I know that a lot of people didn't follow me for that, but I still like watching Survivor. And I don't know. Maybe I'll just keep that one to myself this season. I recognize her. They're not doing an All-Stars series of Survivor, are they? Graduate student. Yeah, no, that's not an All-Star. All right. Yeah. I'll have to see how that goes. But anyway, enough of that digression. Let's go over and take a look at what's going on here. I Want to Dance. Whitney Houston. Naomi Ackie. I have to keep my eye out for that. Carmen, starring Melissa Barrera and Paul Mescal. Okay, they were at TIFF, and apparently Perry Nemiroff interviewed her. Nice. I need to fully watch that because she asked her Scream questions, and that's cool. And she was really awesome in Scream 5. So, and I hope the franchise follows her character. Also, new Amazing Race starts soon, says A. Weaver. I know Amazing Race Canada is wrapping up here pretty soon. So the American one could be closing, getting soon here too. All right. More TIFF, because TIFF closed, right? 5 years ago today, Mother was released. Timothée Chalamet has 7 musical numbers. Musical numbers in Wonka. Okay. British Vogue solo male cover. Sure people will like that. Okay. Timothée Chalamet. What's this? Camila Mendes and Maya Hawke at the Do Revenge. All right, yeah, that was that teen comedy where she's the popular girl and she's the non-popular girl, and they make an agreement to have revenge on each other's enemies, right? So they wouldn't suspect each other. Cool. Maya Hawke, definitely from Stranger Things. Looking forward to a lot more work from her. Nothing too much else there. All right, guys. The trailer for Geta Malik's rom-com, India Sweets and Spices. UK cinemas October 21st. I don't know anything about this.
We're throwing this dinner thing next Saturday. You're new in town. You guys should come.
Okay, it's English, so it's not subtitled. I'll take a look for that. Florence Pugh on Tiffany & Co. Naomi Ackie. Seen that? Florence Pugh. Big name. Can't get bigger than that. I think that's it for today, guys. Don't Worry Darling, Olivia Wilde to be honored at Women in Film Los Angeles Gala. That's Olivia Wilde for Don't Worry Darling. Cool. I like Olivia Wilde. And is that her cinematographer? Or maybe that's her... No, it's not the writer. Yeah, that's Olivia Wilde. Huh. Happy birthday, Bong Joon-ho. Oh, was it his birthday yesterday? Parasite. Cool. Happy birthday, man. Indeed. Indeed. All right, guys. Well, I got some time here. That's the way that it's been. I think I'm just going to jam here for a little bit on my old guitar so that when I go... I don't know if I'll do a post show today on Facebook. We'll do the post show right now. And what I do on the post show, guys, is that sometimes I rehash some of the stories. I think the show went great. A. Weaver says Perry asks great questions. She does. She's a great interviewer. For sure. One of the best, I say. Yeah, Olivia's great. Just ditch the boyfriend. You don't like Harry Styles? I thought lots of people like Harry Styles. Yeah, you know, I got muted. I think for that lick, I don't know why, because it's not a famous song or anything like that. Ooh, that sounded not so good. Yeah. I think that show went pretty well today too, anyway. Art Glass, while you're here. I did listen to that Jonathan Davis album. I've been listening to it quite a bit, actually. I'll pull that up here. Jonathan Davis solo album. And I'll tell you what my favorite tracks are on that. Black Labyrinth, right? Okay, I liked... What did I like? I wrote it down here. I liked Everyone. I liked Happiness. What else did I write here? The Secret was okay. I liked What You Believe is one of my songs on there that I like. And Gender. Gender is such a weird song. Totally unexpected from... it's not one of those hard... It's not one of those hard songs. It's got like a very interesting sound to it. Yeah, interesting scale to it. I don't know, not all of them. I think Happiness may be my favorite song. I don't know. Interesting album, though. Thanks for pointing that out. What? No Harry Styles song? Jeez, guys. I don't know any Harry Styles songs, actually, to tell you the truth. I don't think I've ever listened to a song. Hey, Weaver, if you got a suggestion there, I'd take suggestions. I'll listen to what you recommend. Yeah, that's a cool riff. That's fun. That's a lot of fun, right? Yeah. Well, yeah, you could put three chords together and you won't know if you're playing a song or not. Like, what was the other? I was doing I was doing A minor, D minor, and then G. And that could be any number of songs, right? Because when you think about it, there's only a certain amount of chords to be played. that's why some people play it in different spots on the neck, like a D minor. They'll stretch out like this for some reason and play weird seventh sus chords and stuff like that. Yeah, like I never understood it. Apparently that's the common thing to do, right? You do a sus chord, and then you go down to the actual major. Yeah, like that. It's cool, man. It's cool. See what I did there? I was playing loud there with the pick sound, and then I corrected. I was playing more on the downstroke. You see players like James Hetfield, Dave Mustaine, they always talk about how you hold the pick. And the true guys that can do like like Bernth. Bernth is awesome. Like he was really adamant about how you hold the pick so that you're not getting pick sound in the way that you strum. I don't really care about that stuff. I mean, I do to some extent, because you could hear the difference there, right? You hear the pick sound? Straightened it out? Dig that. All right. Yeah. If you guys don't know who Bernth is a master. I think I have him saved in my liked 2022 playlist. He does straight guitar stuff, and I call him a master. I follow him for like guitar exercises and stuff like that. He does like shorts and stuff. And he's got a good album to listen to. I listen to this album quite a bit. Elevation. Yeah. If you haven't seen that, it's on YouTube. Bernth full album. Of course you're going to give me an ad. But it's all like guitar instrumental stuff. And the way he's just like, if you don't know music, then it may just sound like a bunch of garbled noise to it. But I totally recommend that you go check it out. The best song that I like on it from that album is one, Monolith is great, and Dopamine. Dopamine is awesome. But you'll hear. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't want to get a copyright claim from him, but I'm saying go check that out, that album out. But he does like a lot of tapping and stuff like this. It's just really off the hook kind of stuff. I check it out. I listen to it quite a bit. I put it on in the background. It's awesome. Bernth, guitar player, and he's a fantastic guitar player. All right, guys, that's it for today's show. I hope you enjoyed the post show here there on the channel. We do that mostly on Facebook Lives. But I felt like doing it today. Give me about a 10-minute break, and in about 10 minutes, we'll be watching She-Hulk Episode 5. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining the show. See you tomorrow for more movie news, and see you in a few moments for She-Hulk on Mirror Domains.